We going on the hike. I climbed the ridge line up here. About, I don't know if you can really see it through these trees, but I try to get up to the top of that at least 3 times a week. Get me ready for an elk hunt that I can hopefully go on this year. And then when I get back, be finishing up Brittany's shelf for next to the bed that she wanted. So I'll just kind of screw that to a board and then screw the board to the wall. So it'll be kind of a nice little deal.
I love you.
Love you, sweetheart.
Have fun.
Remember, 3 shots means something's eating me.
Okay. That's fun.
So, I know we've been talking about getting a garden going for some time. You know, once we got the chickens, it became pretty clear that something or everything wants to eat them out here. So we had to get the coop built, but now that that is done, it's all squared away, we are going to get on the garden. This is the soil that our neighbors were nice enough to bless us with. This is all really, really good dirt mixed with manure that's been in their pasture for years and years and years. So it's really rich. It's really good for growing. And they were nice enough to bring us a whole dump load of it. And they even said they'd bring us another one if we needed it.
Thank you.
All right, here's where everything's gonna be laid out.
We kind of just were drawing it out in our brains. This is hardware cloth, rabbit wire. We're hoping that's gonna keep the gophers and moles from chewing on my garden plants and keeping them out of everything. So Kraig was thinking, well, you tell him.
Well, I'm thinking we lay, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take those logs over there.
Right over here.
Those are all green logs. The same hurricane force winds that took off a big portion of our porch roof, or the tin off our porch roof, took down a bunch of really nice green trees that were perfectly alive but just could not handle the close to 100-mile-an-hour winds that whipped through the valley. Had to cut up a bunch of those. Normally I just cut up those into 11 or 12 foot sections anyway, so we wound up stacking them up to season them for a year or two. I figured why not just use the green wood to make our boxes. I thought that'd be kind of neat. So we're gonna do one big one on the bottom and then a smaller one on the top to make it a little deeper. And we are going to line the bottom of them with this rabbit wire, because gophers will eat anything you put in the ground. But yeah, so we're gonna put this rabbit wire on the bottom. I'm thinking we just put the boxes down, put the wire on it, and then just turn the whole thing over and flop it down so that's the bottom. At least that's how it's going in my head. We'll see if it's too heavy to do when we get going. These trees were kind of a nuisance, but after I cut them down, Brittany said, why don't you just make me a nice little bench for the garden? So I put a board on there. I'm like, you know what? It's actually not bad.
It's beautiful.
It's pretty good.
So it being just the two of us right now, I don't think we need anything. I don't think we need a huge garden space. This is pretty big for 2 people anyways. But as our family's growing and everything, I think we'll probably use this area over here, have a little bit extra space for growing foods that are gonna last through the winter, and for canning and things like that. But Kraig right now isn't too much of a vegetable eater.
Yeah, I don't eat. It's no secret that I don't eat a whole lot of vegetables, but you know, actually, I used to work on a fishing boat when I was younger, and I'm kind of a certain way with fish. You know, like if I catch it and I clean it, I love fish. I think it's fantastic. I think it's delicious. But I would never order it in a restaurant. If somebody else made it for me, I mean, to be polite, I'd eat it, but I'd hate every second of it. But you know, when it comes to vegetables, I'm hoping I'm the same way. And we are also spending a small fortune on organic vegetables right now because we want Brittany to be eating nothing but organic. because we got a baby on the way.
We want a healthy baby.
That's right.
So instead of giving all of our cash to the natural food stores, we want to grow it by ourselves. And I grew up with a garden. So I think this will be plenty of space. For right now, this will be like our...
It's our first attempt. It's our rough draft at a garden.
Yes, we'll see how it goes this year.
Hopefully we can get some stuff to grow. It'll be nice, it'll be fun, it'll be good stuff to make new videos out of. I'm curious to see how the grasshoppers take to our delicious vegetables. You know, our chickens are really going to town on the old grasshopper population. They're pecking them out of the ground before they get too big at all. There they are. That's Doris, Deb, and Jemima. And that's Gloria. And that's Cider.
So
she is alive. She's just sleeping. Cider! There she is. But yeah, so that's what we have basically put together today. And now we are gonna call it a day for the most part. I'm gonna go start cooking up a little bit of ribs. Had them in the oven for most of the day, and I am excited to see how they came out. Low temperature cooking, you gotta love it. Very tender. But tomorrow anyway, we're gonna start dragging those logs over here, and we're gonna see how we do. Now, last year we found a wild apple tree, and we just took an unbelievable amount of apples off of it. We made applesauce, we made apple cider, and we made a bunch of apple pies, and we absolutely loved it. And we wound up with a whole bunch of apple cores left over, and I thought, you know, just for the heck of it, why don't we just try burying them and maybe we'll get an apple tree out of it. And the first go around, I woke up the next morning and all the apple cores were actually out of the hole and all over the floor because something dug them up and was trying to eat them. So after that, decided to put these rocks around them, and then we put that barbecue grate over the top of them.
This grate right here, it comes off.
It's detachable, so we put that over it just so nothing else would get to it. So we came back and looked in there and we saw some sprouts, and they are apple trees.
Yay.
So we got 3 little trees out of the deal. To let it grow a little bit bigger, it started to outgrow that little grate, so we built a cage for them out of the original chicken pen that we had. And then
I think these are just like storage shelves, all-purpose storage shelves.
Yes, all-purpose. So I'm thinking a little bit later in the year I can wrap saran wrap or some sort of a clear tarping over it, make a little greenhouse out of it, because the hardest part about getting an apple tree is having it make it through its first winter up here. So we're going to try and let these things get as big and strong as we can through the spring, summer, and fall, and then hopefully when we come back they'll still be alive.
Kraig made me he was working on a little shelf for the side of my bed. Our room is so small that we had to push the bed all the way up against one wall, and so I can't walk on my side of the bed. I just kind of crawl over Kraig. When he's sleeping, he's fine. But anyway, so I wanted something to put my, you know, my book on, my water bottle, that sort of thing. So Kraig made me this beautiful shelf out of just a piece of firewood. He just sanded it up really smooth and lacquered it up, and it's just beautiful. And this is the little shelf that Kraig made me for my side of the bed. So I've got something to put my stuff on, and I love it. Can you see what Kraig is doing with dinner? Kraig?
Yes, love?
What are you doing?
I'm making amazing ribs.
Oh my goodness, it smells so good.
Oop, 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 oop. Oh yeah, look at the pull on that bone.
Yeah.
Okay, these are gonna be tender. So tender.
It smells so good.
Oh yeah. See, that
Nicely done.
makes it nice and tender, and then what I do is I let this cool for just a little while, cut them into half, and then I flash them on the barbecue, get a good caramelization going.
After you put barbecue sauce on them.
Well, yeah, you got to put the barbecue sauce on them. But yeah, this is everybody seems to like the ribs I make. So
Oh my goodness.
it should be quite the treat this evening.
How long has this been cooking?
These have been in for 7 hours at 200 and wouldn't you like to know? Nah, about 215 for about 7 hours, and that's what gives them the really good fall right apart, come right apart on you.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I do is I season them up real good before I put them into the oven, and that's kind of where all the seasoning and a lot of the flavor comes from besides the barbecue sauce. What I'll do is I'll put a nice layer of Montreal steak. I will do a hefty layer of Lowry's garlic salt, nice little bit of paprika, and a very, very fine dusting of cayenne pepper. And that just gives it enough heat for it to be delicious. Put these on the inside. Good and covered. So they caramelize up real well. Got to cover the bone too. For some reason it just comes out better when you cover the bone. What I do is I get a nice little, not a burn, but you know, a nice little light charring on this side. Alright. Ooh, yeah. And it's really nice when the bark peels off and you just see that real good layer of fat. Get plenty of that caramelized sauce on there. Ooh, yeah. All that caramelized goodness. Just enough to cover the char. There we go. We are ready to eat. Now we'll go inside, get dished up, and be ready to land the plane. Had a pretty good day today, got a lot done. A lot of little chores around the house, a few projects. At least started on the garden boxes. Nothing, there's no better reward than a big old plate of ribs after a day of hard work on the old off-grid homestead.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think we did pretty good today. I don't know how we'll do better, but I think we'll do better tomorrow.
We did good today.
But we'll do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kraig is feeding the chickens corn. Oh, he loves those chickens.
They love corn. Come on, Doris, there's plenty for you.
Here's a straggler.
Deb wants in on it.